Today's conversation, obviously with getting noticed in Hollywood, is very much around social media. And the next question I would like for you all to answer, because I think it's very important, as we are vessels, we're creators, right? How do you preserve your own mental wellness while actually giving your art, while you're actually putting your art out there? Is there a practice that you have? Is there a meditation? Is there a philosophy that you live by that you're able to do this for 50 years plus without, necessary burnout? So we'll start at the very end.
Now, this is going to be very interesting because to give you guys some background, I know I've been doing this for 25 years, over 25 years now. Pentecostal kid, but now my journey on the spiritual side is actually through a Yoruba tradition. So I've went and got initiated in Ifa. My African name is Fashina Shangodi Mola Fatumashe.
Wow.
So I wear both names very proudly because the name Silas is from the Bible. So when you think about these things and the energy and how do you protect what you do every morning, as I get up and meditate. But I tell every artist, everybody, I always tell them this trick. I said, listen, when you go to sleep at night, when you're washing yourself, literally when you're taking a bath, you're literally washing away that energy that you've collected through the day, right? So the way that you protect yourself is then when I get ready to get out of the shower, I turn on the cold water. I say one prayer that I want God to answer for me. And it may not be about material. It may be just like, God, make me a better person. Because every day that I get up, my job is to get up and be of service to someone. Not to someone in the industry, but to someone. I'm honored because there's a man sitting up here that I know his work and didn't know the man. So when the other part of that I really want to stress is networking. He should not leave here without everybody touching him, giving him a card. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Because you never know what those conversations will turn into. But as far as finding a way to keep your sanity, always find 10 minutes, 15 minutes to meditate and envision what you want to accomplish. And that would be my suggestion.
Well, for keeping myself sane, I mean, first thing, I'm a 56-year-old man. And I have an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old at home. So I had to be crazy in the first place for that to happen. But one of the things that my wife told me to do, I've always been very interested in Africa. I'd been to Egypt, but I hadn't been to the motherland. To me, was West Africa. I wanted to go visit West Africa, East Africa, and South Africa. I'd been to North, but none of the other places. And so I was working on my project, and I started observing your content from Nigeria, from Kenya, from all these different places. One of the ways I keep my sanity is actually learning about African actors, other people's work outside of the United States, things that I've never seen, because it opens up like a portal for me. And I'm able to transport and see a part of your world that I never saw before physically, because we tell stories about our experiences. That's what we do. So I can learn, and so I educate myself through your films. And so my wife looked at me one day, she said, my film partner, he's from the Ivory Coast. And he called me up and said, hey, how you holding up? I know you're working on this project. How you feeling? I'm like, you know what? I'm good, but you're asking me this for a reason. And he was asking me because I didn't sound good. So that night, my wife said, why don't you go and visit him? So that night, I bought the ticket. 14 days later, I was standing on the Ivory Coast in that 98-degree weather. And I was able to now be inside of the portal that I just watched. And I was able to see it firsthand. And it was like a cleansing. I walked out of the situation feeling completely different. When I hit the ground here, I said, this project has got to go now, because I saw that it could work. But it was like somebody put a pair of jumper cables on me. It refreshed my spirit, my soul, everything, because I'd gone there and met people that were telling me about the things that I had questions about. Who I am, what my journey is supposed to be about. And once I got the answers, it's easy now. I can just keep doing it over and over again. It's simple. I mean, it's like you said, you know, a bigger spirit, something touches you and says, you know what? You feel the nudge. You feel it. You feel it go. You try to fall back, you can't. It's impossible. You can't turn around now. Your head won't even go back. So that's kind of what happened with me. That trip, this last trip was one of the most educational trips I've ever had. And I'm gonna make this quick. Gentleman walking down the street stops me on the Ivory Coast, does not know that I'm American. I got a big afro at the time. Walking down the street, and the guy starts speaking to me in French. And I have no idea what he said. My film partner speaks 7 languages. And I said, what did he say? He said that you're black, he's African, and you're brothers. And it is your duty to love each other. That's what he said. And that's my job from this day forward, to always love my brothers and sisters from everywhere. So that's my long story. Here we go.
Thank you.
So I was raised up in Kenya, but I currently live in New York. And I always used to see top designers, they're struggling mentally and they commit suicide. And I'm like, why? Because back home we believe that one of the reasons that will make you commit suicide is having no money, you know? But they have all the wealth, they have all the fame and stuff. So when I came to New York, I saw the reality of it. You never have an outlet for yourself. It's all about creating. Like Fashion Week is in February next year, but we already have pressure already right now, and we have to submit our pieces, our collection. Like there's so much intensity that is going on and the behind the scenes. So I sat down and said, okay, if I'm gonna, like 6 months later, you even just start developing anxiety, you start feeling like you're less enough, you have like a self-imposter syndrome. I'm like, no, I have been doing this thing for too long, and I've been creating pieces. There is no room for me to just start second guessing myself. And one thing I decided to do is to have an outlet. Like every day in the morning, I do some exercise, and then in the evening, I take a long bath and read a book. 1 hour of reading the book just refreshes me, and the next day, I have energy to do more. And I also find out something online. I think it's a monk or something. They talk about salt bath. It just keeps off your energy, and it's like cleansing in the evening, just before you go to sleep. So these are some of the things that I've had to learn along the way, just to remove the burnout and everything. But one of the things that I've come to realize that works magically for artists, traveling. Traveling releases the burnout and creates better energy for you. So for me, those are the different things I get to do. And currently traveling has been back home or different areas, just to be able to connect to a new environment. Yeah, that's what I would say that I use to kick off my burnout.
I love that.
Yeah. And sleep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get those hours in. Come on.
I try and sleep 7 hours.
Yeah.
I used to sleep like 3 hours. I can't create. Because if you're sleeping, the needle, you're gonna stitch your fingers because you'll be sleeping. Or no, I'm not about that life. So I get my nice sleep, Sleeping Beauty, and then wake up, and then I'm good. I'm good for the day.
Good.
Thank you.
Restore those cells, yes.
Sleep is important. I'm a little all over the place. I agree, meditation is like the best in the morning, just to get yourself focused and right with the world. But these days, you know, it's interesting. As a trained artist, one of the things you learn is that it's not about you. You think it's about you. That's a mistake. It's not about you. It's about the work. It's about crafting your work. And so when I, for example, the piano lesson, I said, I don't want to see my choreography in the work, in the scene. I want to be invisible in it, so that it just feels natural. So you don't see that there's a choreographer there. So again, it's not about me. So I don't take that on.
That's smart.
It's about how do I make you better? What do I got to do to get you there? You know what I mean? And when I see you there, you shining, you doing all that stuff, I'm happy. You know what I mean? The other thing is, and I guess it's different for me now, but I don't talk to people who don't hear me. I just stop that. If you don't hear me, I'm stop talking to you. You know what I mean? Stop. It'll get rid of a lot of folks. And then I think the third thing that keeps me mentally stable is the honor of women. It's important that we honor our women everywhere, especially my wife. I honor her in ways that she doesn't expect it. We cannot, because there's magic. I'm just saying, there's magic in women. And there's magic in women.
No, we agree.
No, but I mean, you know, when you're in a car and you're getting in an accident and this car stopping fast, men don't go, women protect. But I'm not saying that for, you know, to get applause. I'm saying that that's a real thing, and especially in the black community, we must change that colonization. We must change that because we will never get anywhere until we start to honor who our women are. We will never move forward. We will never move forward. So that my wife keeps me, and the women around me keep me.
The yin and the yang, the yin and the yang, of course.
Well, into that, because we come from that. I was so proud to see Woman King with Viola and what she did, and her take. Hey, Tina, Miss Tina, who created this whole platform for us. It took a woman to bridge the gap.
Yes.
You know, from Chicago, and that's what it's about. You know, it's important that we recognize the power of them, because women are nurturers, and they've been nurturing us and the men. How do I keep my sanity in this business? Like, to add on to what everyone else was saying, I've been a Sikh all my life. I've chanted Buddhist, did Science of the Mind, Unity, always trying to, Catholic, Protestant, Jehovah's Witness. I've been seeking as an artist, because we have to keep ourselves open. There is no true religion but the relationship. Okay, whatever you follow, it's about your relationship with the Creator that will keep you moving forward. And it's not about you. It's about how you here to be of service to impact one another. As an artist, that's what we're here for. God has given us a gift to help, encourage, and enlighten. Art imitates life, and life imitates art. And that's what we're here to be, a voice of the voiceless. People who aren't able to speak out loud. And that's what we're here to be, that vessel, to show them, to encourage them, to enlighten them. So that's what I ask for God to use me, to be of service, and it keeps me insane. It's not about me. The accolades and getting the NAACP Theater Award and the Grammy, by his help, for Broadway musical, you know, and the Trumpet Award, their own things. They collect dust. It's about how many lives am I help changing? We all are part of a tree. And hopefully the tree that we are part of, that we're creating good fruit from it. So when I leave tomorrow, if hopefully something I said today will impact someone's life and they can pass it on to someone else, that means my spirit will never die. And that's what it's about, being eternal. It's not about the flesh today, because this is fleeting. We're all going to go. But how many lives have you changed? How many people have you touched? And that's what we need to reach out for in whatever we do, in all our positions, you know, is to reach out and touch one another in love. So that's how I keep my sanity, knowing that I'm of service.
Beautiful.
And how can I be you?
For me, the self-preservation comes back from going back to my roots, all of us going back to our roots. I think it's very important to where we come from and to realize it took over 4,000 ancestors for you to be here today. And I think sometimes we don't realize how much power we have, and we're here for a purpose that's bigger than ourselves. I happen to be Greek, from Greek descent. So Socrates, my homeboy, he always said, know thyself. And so for me, it's something that's inscribed within me is when you know yourself, you know what to do, you know times to push on the gas, times to push on the brakes. And so I think that's the most beautiful thing. And thank you guys so much for offering so much wisdom, that I've learned so much, and I know everyone in the audience and at home. I'm now going to turn it over to the audience for any Q&As for the last 10 minutes. So I'm sure you guys have some things for our panelists.
My name is Alan Shea. I'm the host of our society show. We're providing coverage for HAPA on this evolution that HAPA is presenting to us. First question I have for the panel, yes or no answer, quick answers. Do we have enough skin in the game to make a difference to every area that you've been involved with? Yes or no, and then a quick answer as to, do we have enough skin in the game? And if not, how do we make it?
Do we have enough? No. Can it be built? Yes. Very, very simple. If we work together, yes, we can get enough skin in the game. What you guys don't understand, and I always say that again, the Yoruba always say that one good head touches 200 others. So something that I may say may impact you, but like I said before, we're sitting on stage with 11. I'm going to do some networking as soon as we're done. So do we have enough skin in the game? No. Can we get there? Yes.
I agree. We don't have enough skin in the game, but there's enough skin to be put in the game. All right? I mean, you got 1.5 billion people on the continent of Africa, right? So if we remove the lines, as I've told a couple of people earlier, take the lines out of the sand that somebody else drew, stop saying that we're this, that, and the other, accept what they call us, which is black, now we got enough black skin in the game. So, yes and no.
No, but we have the capacity to be able to change the narrative. All we need is to get our identity right and be united. That's all.
We can change the world.
No, but we need to break that generational curse
Yes.
and learn to work together. You know, that's why I'm so happy with the films that are coming out that are showing the motherland, you know, and blending American actors with African actors and being seen on a wide screen, wide scale, not just in the one neighborhood. It's shown all over the world, from Black Panther to Woman King. You know, it's finally happening. But we have to be more in control of that, you know, as the creators or the financiers of them projects. Because they're still being financed by who? It's not us. You know, we have to get to that point, all right?
Thank you.
Yes?
To piggyback on what you just said, so how do we get us to finance our project?
By educating. By realizing, well, we're learning in the marketplace, like Silas was saying, we're finally getting in the marketplace, like the brother here was saying, of distribution, of getting that platform. We didn't have control of what people were seeing. So that's why we weren't making the money or risking the investment in it. Now, because of social media and YouTube, we have that advantage. That's why you use this platform. Not to just show how good you look and what's going on, but to promote positive messages to encourage and enlighten our people.
The United Nations have different sub-organizations that you can actually use to connect with professional experts in Africa. For example, you have UNFAO, you have UNHCR. So if you go to their website, you'll find statistics of budgeted support for African when it comes to the medical industry and any other industry that the United Nations is sponsoring. So that's the best outlet that you can actually find resources.
Hi, my name is Damo Devine. I'm an entrepreneur, perspective analyzer, a whole bunch of other things. But as an artist upcoming in the industry, or I'm gonna say as a director, would it be more beneficial to focus on short films, or put all of your energy into all of your energy and skill into a feature that you could push?
Well, short films now are getting a lot of recognition. They have a category in Oscars and in different major award shows. So, and financially, it's easier as long and to finance and produce than to try to do a big film. And you don't need stars to do a short film. You need a good story. So, because you're not looking for commercial sale, for your investors. So you can really work on the work and the message in the story of a short film. Does anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I mean, it's funny. Nowadays, you could go pick up a camera for under $2,000. You could go hire a bunch of your friends and shoot a short film in 2 days if you want to, depending on what your story is. You make sure your story's right, and then you can get the tools to shoot it yourself. But in that process of learning how to shoot that short film, that is where the skill set comes from to shoot the feature. And the short film you can fund yourself if there's any funding needed at all. Because my friend's a drummer. He plays a drum. I called him up one day, and 5 minutes later we were shooting a short film that I shot that's a 13-minute film that I created, and it wasn't because I was trying to show it off to anybody. I just wanted to do it. And that you can do that same thing. We all can.
I think, and it's funny that you asked that, because I'm doing this for a director right now. So I just told him, like, let's do a short film, because what we're able to do now is leverage our relationships. So it's easy for me to call a Wayne Brady and say, hey, I only need you for a couple hours just to shoot this, and then we're gonna put the financing behind it. So I always say, if you start with a short film, you can get the buzz about yourself as a director for your long-term goal.
Build and they come, basically. Yeah. Is there any other entertainment questions? We're a little bit over time, so we do one or two more.
I have a unique story, and I've been told by many people it's a unique autobiography story. Would it be better to think about a book, a screenplay, to get it out there? A treatise? How would one approach the industry with a story that may be unique to the industry to get it produced into maybe a movie or short, from your perspective?
I suggest to do a book.
A book.
To do it, and because once you get a publishing and you get it marketed, and the studios or people see the popularity of the book and people are interested in it, then somebody will think about financing it. Or you could get a star attached who likes the book, who says, I want to play that character. That's how a lot of, especially our stories, are getting produced. So to try to do it as a film, who cares? You know what I mean? Unless you have somebody of name to co-sign you.
All right, so my question has to do with distribution. I understand that you guys have been in the industry for a very long time. What mechanisms or framework have you put in place to protect young actors and young actresses, or people that are coming into the entertainment industry, to make sure that they are not cheated by the distribution companies that we have around here today?
It's kind of a broad question, but you're just in negotiation. I mean, the first thing I tell people is, I don't sign contracts. I sign agreements. I don't sign anything that has con in the first three letters of the word. So when you're dealing with these things, and especially because we all know if the business isn't right, you're going to be disappointed. So it's just in negotiations. I mean, there's different artists that can give you fail-safe things, but sometimes if you don't have a name in the business, it's a little harder to ask for certain things. But it's just going back and forth. It's the only thing it's the best advice I can give. But I always tell me, if you tell me no, then you better have about 101 ways to say no, because I'll get the yes sooner or later.
There you go.
And I encourage young artists to go to a platform called IMDb, okay, and to sign up and do your research on what these people have done, their work, so you know if they're legitimate, or they printed up their own bio, and there's nothing to support it. And because everybody, our community is very small. We all have worked together of some sort. So you want to do your due diligence, like in any business, to make sure these people are correct and legit and not scam artists.
Yeah.
And are not just out for the money and trying to take advantage of people and their families, okay?
Yeah.
You put your reel together, your resume, and you submit it to agents or managers. You seek someone like Silas to represent you or to guide you, or you send me your information, and that's how you get exposed, and you connect yourself. It's all about your connection. It's your relationships with people, so you can get other work. Like you see with the movies that are being done, they're looking for you now. You're in season, so that's how you do it. But it's about the dedication and the due diligence, and you can't give up. You got to walk by faith and not by sight. You got to go in there with a commitment, because we could feel it. We know when people are not sure of themselves, and we're looking for people to hire who are sure of themselves, who make us believers.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful note that we'll end on. Thank you so much.
Are you an actress?
An actress.
You're an actress. You're a singer. Okay. Are you putting your music out on Spotify or any of those platforms? Okay, so I'll talk to you later, but there's an algorithm that they're using, which is really crazy now. Not fair to us unless we understand it, but it's really cool. So it's something that will take a longer conversation. I'll be willing to share it with you, because this is the thing with the record industry. The guys that are signing deals, they don't want to do the work, right? So, and this is where you can use social media as the biggest platform. Don't just follow anybody. Be very strategic. So if you want to do films, I follow every director. Because again, it's going on algorithms. I always tell guys, if you're following an algorithm, they're sending you a certain amount of things. So if you ever notice, and this is a guy thing, if you pick up your phone and your Instagram is sending you big booty girls all the time, it lets me know what you're looking at. It lets me know what you're liking. So if you go on mine is always, you're seeing positive stuff, you're seeing different things. So you gotta understand, they go off algorithms, but there's a really cool way to impact the music side of what you do, and that's where I build my bread and butter in this business. There's an algorithm that they're doing, and the way that you can release on Fridays and at a certain time. And then you time that into your Instagram. But like I said, it's a long way to do it, but I'll give it to you, and you'll see the change right away.
Well, thank you so much. That was such amazing wisdom. Everyone here should feel empowered to put their personal stories out, to start creating. There's no reason, after seeing and hearing from everyone here. Thank you guys so much for being here.